I don't remember the first time it happened. That's the terrifying part. You'd think going back in time would be, I don't know, cinematic. Lightning. Clock spinning. A voice saying 3 days earlier. But for me, it always starts the same way. I fall asleep curled on my right side, fingers tangled in the necklace he gave me, and I wake up 3 months before the day he left. The day everything broke. The day Kai walked out of my life with a suitcase, a one-way ticket to New York, and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I've relived that timeline 27 times. 27 full resets. And each time, I've tried something different. Flirting with him earlier. Warning him. Pretending to be casual. Being clingy. Being aloof. Changing everything. Changing nothing. But no matter what I do, he always leaves. And I always end up alone. The last timeline was the worst. I managed to convince him to stay one extra day. We even kissed. Not a casual peck, an actual, heated, desperate kiss where I thought he might change his mind. But then the next morning, he was gone. No note. Just the necklace on my pillow. I curled up the same way. Pressed the chain to my lips. And fell asleep whispering, please. One more chance. When I woke up, the air smelled like spring again. My calendar said April. And Kai was back in our town, still mine to win. Again. I don't know what cosmic force keeps letting me try. I don't know what will happen if I fail too many times. But I know this, if I can just stop him from getting on that plane, everything changes. He won't spend the rest of his life in a city that eats his spirit alive. I won't end up in a hospital bed at 36, alone, with regret as my only visitor. I know how this ends. I've seen it. So this time, I'm doing things differently. No big gestures. No grand speeches. I'm starting with small things. Like today. Day 1. I show up to his apartment uninvited but with snacks. He opens the door, and my heart does the usual traitorous flip. Kai has always been a beautiful kind of tired. Sharp jaw, dark eyes, sleepy voice that makes your knees wobble. Hey, he says. Same as always. I brought chips, I reply, holding the bag like a peace treaty. He smirks. You're weird. You're welcome. I follow him inside. I know where everything is. I know that if I nudge his shoulder just right while he's scrolling, he'll make that fake annoyed sound and then let me rest my head on his chest. I know that if I joke about his Spotify taste, he'll challenge me to a playlist war. I know that if I let the silence linger just long enough, he'll look at me like he wants to kiss me. And he does. But he doesn't. Not today. He falls asleep on the couch while we're watching old anime, and I sit there watching his chest rise and fall. I've loved you through 27 timelines, I whisper. And I'll do it through 28 if I have to. When I get home, I try to sleep on my left side. Just in case. I don't want to reset. Not yet. Not when I haven't messed anything up. But I wake up the next morning and check the calendar. Still April. Still Kai. Still time. I try a different move. I suggest a trip. A little getaway before his big move. He hesitates. That's new. You okay? He asks. You're acting like you think I'm dying or something. I laugh too hard. No. Just, live a little. Let's go to the lake. We drive out the next morning. The cabin is still there, just like last time. It's the place he first told me he was moving. Where I first felt my heart crack. I vow to change that memory. That night, we sit on the porch with drinks and a blanket. The wind is cold. The stars are bright. And when I rest my head on his shoulder, he doesn't move. I'm scared, I whisper. Not of him. Of time. Of waking up and finding the counter reset again. Of having to pretend I'm meeting him for the first time. Of what, he asks. I look up at him. Of losing something I never really had. He stares at me like he wants to ask 1,000 questions. Instead, he pulls me into his arms. Then don't let go. And for a moment, I believe it might work. That this time, he'll stay. That this time, I won't have to fall asleep and wake up 3 months earlier. But fate has sharp teeth. And she never lets go without a fight. I wake up and I know I've failed again. It's not even the scent of cold air or the wrong calendar date that tells me. It's the weight in my chest. The heaviness behind my ribs that only exists when time resets. I blink at the ceiling, then roll over to grab my phone. April is gone. I'm back in February. Again. Damn it, I whisper. I don't scream this time. I've screamed before. I've begged. I've cried into the same pillow, cursed the same ceiling, and clawed at the same bedsheets. None of it changes the fact that I'm still stuck in this loop. Still fighting the same battle. Still trying to win back a man who always walks away. I move through the morning numb. Go to class. Smile at the barista. Pretend I haven't lived this exact day more than 20 times. The worst part is I don't even know what I did wrong this time. I was careful. I didn't push. I didn't confess. I didn't ruin anything. But somehow, I still triggered the reset. Somewhere along the line, he must have made the choice again. To leave. And the loop obeyed. The moment I lay down the same way, necklace in hand, curled on my side like a fool with hope, it pulled me back here. To February. The month before everything falls apart. I try not to cry. I try to focus. I remind myself I still have time. I still have him. I find Kai in the usual place. By the vending machines, pretending not to wait for me. He always does this on day one. Feigns surprise when I show up. You again, he teases. You're like a ghost. You haunt this hallway. Yeah, I say, smiling despite myself. But a hot ghost. He grins. Debatable. He doesn't know it, but I know exactly what he's craving today, spicy chips and strawberry soda. I buy both. He blinks as I hand them over. How'd you know? Intuition, I lie. Or maybe you're just predictable. Wow. Harsh. I bump his shoulder. You love it. And he does. He just doesn't know why yet. That night, I try something I haven't done in a long time. I ask him to stay over. Not with some grand excuse. Not with a date night or a deep talk or emotional bait. I just text him. Wanna crash at mine? He replies, sure. Bring snacks. When he shows up, it's like all the other times, messy hair, loose hoodie, sleep still in his eyes. But it still steals my breath. He walks into my room like he belongs there. Because in so many timelines, he did. I don't push him to talk. We watch dumb movies. Laugh at the same jokes. And when I crawl into bed, I lie on my left side just to be safe. I won't risk another reset. Not when he's here. He joins me a minute later, not asking permission. He never does in these early timelines. Not until I've earned it again. I feel his warmth behind me, familiar and devastating. You good? He asks sleepily. Yeah. You're quiet. Just thinking. About what? What it'd take to make you stay. Silence. Not tense. Just long. Then he murmurs, you don't have to make me stay. Don't I? I whisper. What if you already decided to leave? Then you'd have to change my mind. And how would I do that? He shifts closer. I feel his breath on the back of my neck. Maybe just, ask me to stay. My throat tightens. I want to cry. I want to kiss him. I want to beg. But I don't do any of those things. I just reach behind me and take his hand. We fall asleep like that, fingers tangled, his chest at my back. I sleep facing the wrong side. On purpose. And when I wake up, the calendar still says February. But for once, I don't feel like I failed. I feel like I made progress. And that's all I need. This time, I don't waste the first few days pretending. I've learned that no matter how many resets I go through, the clock doesn't stop for me. And neither does Kai. Every timeline has a rhythm. A delicate dance of moments that can tip either way. And if I misstep too early, if I let one conversation sour, one glance turn too cold, he slips through my fingers and I wake up alone again, back in that first week of February, heart pounding with grief and confusion. So this time, I lean in. I memorize his moods. I time my jokes. I pull back when he seems distant and lean in when I see that flicker of something soft in his eyes. And for the first time, it starts to feel real again. On day 4 of this loop, I invite him to the rooftop of the science building. I've done this before, but never with confidence. This time, I know the exact words to say to make him follow me. You know I'm trying to win a bet, right? I say casually, as we walk the back stairwell. Against who? Myself, I grin. I bet I could make Kylie climb a ladder for the worst view in the city. He smirks. Now I have to prove you right. Otherwise your ego will implode. The air up there is cold, but dry. The sky's that perfect gradient between lilac and night. We sit on the ledge, legs dangling, and for a moment it's just us and the wind. You ever think about leaving? He asks, breaking the silence. All the time, I lie, just to hear his answer. Where would you go? Not New York. He laughs softly. That's the plan, remember? You say it like it's a threat. He looks at me then. Really looks. Would it matter if I left? I don't answer right away. In other timelines, I've said too much. Other versions of me have cried. Clung. Begged. This version just shrugs. Maybe. That's it? You'll only know how much if you stay. He stares at me like he's trying to figure out who I am. And I let him. That night, I don't invite him to stay over. I don't kiss him. I don't do anything that would make the spell break too soon. Instead, I text him a photo of the stars from the rooftop and say you look nice up there. He sends back you looked cold. Then, sleep on your left side, dummy. My heart skips. He doesn't know what that means. He just says it as a joke. But it feels like a sign. I do as he says. I wake up in the same timeline. It's working. The next few days get brighter. Not easier. But brighter. We spend more time together. I catch him watching me when he thinks I'm not paying attention. I touch his hand for just a little too long. I let myself laugh without calculating the consequences. And then comes the night I've been dreading. The night he gets the job offer. The one that always tips the scale. In every past timeline, the moment he receives that email, something changes in his eyes. He pulls away. He starts packing mentally, even if he hasn't told me yet. I find him sitting on the edge of his bed, phone in hand, brow furrowed. I know what it says. I sit beside him, close enough to touch but not touching. They made the offer, he says. I figured. I should be happy. Are you? He doesn't answer. I look at him, really look at him. His face, his fingers, the scar on his knuckle from when he tripped on my porch in timeline 13. What if you didn't go? I ask. What if you stayed? What for? He asks, quiet. Me, I say. Just me. He turns slowly. Why does it feel like you've said that before? I freeze. He blinks like he's shaking something off. Then he laughs. Weird déjà vu. I cover it with a smile. But inside, my heart is screaming. Somewhere in him, the other versions of us are still alive. Still echoing. Still trying. Maybe I can reach him. Maybe this time, I won't have to start over. I just have to make it to the moment he chooses. And hope he chooses me. I know the exact day he usually starts packing. I've watched it happen 27 times. Kai will walk into the kitchen, open the fridge, stare at the orange juice for a full 10 seconds like it personally offended him, and say, "Guess I should start getting things in boxes." That's when it begins. The emotional pulling away. The checklists. The soft apologies. The way he looks at me like he's memorizing, not staying. So today, I sit on his counter, blocking the fridge door. "If you touch that orange juice, I'll bite you," I say. He blinks, startled, then laughs. "Okay, psycho. It's haunted. And I need you to make me coffee instead. You're unusually bossy today." "I'm always bossy," I grin. "You're just noticing because you've been thinking about boxes." His smirk fades. "What makes you say that?" "Because you're you. And I'm me. And I know you." He opens his mouth like he's going to deflect with a joke, but then he closes it. "They offered to cover my relocation costs. It's a lot. Like, a lot. Sounds expensive. Sounds real." He sets a mug in front of me. But, I don't know. Something feels wrong. Then maybe it is. I just don't want to disappoint anyone. You're allowed to disappoint the future if it means saving yourself from misery. He stares at me. "That sounds like something you've told me before." My hand tightens around the mug. "Maybe I have. Maybe you forgot. Maybe you weren't ready to hear it then." His voice drops. "And I am now?" I shrug. "I hope so." Later, we end up on the floor of his living room, surrounded by pizza crusts and playlists. The lights are off. The city glows outside the window like it's holding its breath. "You ever feel like we've done this before?" he asks. "What, eat too much and make questionable music choices?" "No. I mean, this. You. Me. This moment. Like déjà vu?" "Yeah. But different. Like I should remember more than I do." My throat tightens. "What would you remember?" "I don't know. Your voice. Your laugh. You crying." I look at him sharply. "Have you seen me cry?" "No," he says slowly. "But it feels like I have. And? It broke me." My hand drifts toward his, fingers brushing knuckles. "Then don't leave this time." "What?" "Don't get on that plane." He looks at me, eyes unreadable. "You say that like you know I will." "Because you always do." "What if I don't want to anymore?" My heart stops. "Then don't." He leans in. Slowly. Cautiously. His breath warms my cheek, his lips hover so close I can taste the moment. And then, he kisses me. It's soft at first. Curious. Then it deepens like it's remembering. Like he's remembering. His hands find my waist. Mine bury in his hair. He shifts until I'm beneath him on the rug, his body pressed against mine, the kiss turning hot, breathless, desperate. Clothes are half off. Fingers trembling. Hearts louder than the music still playing. And I whisper against his neck, "Please stay this time." He doesn't answer with words. He pulls me closer. Holds me like he's afraid I'll disappear. Like he's forgotten how many times I have. After, we lie tangled and quiet, sweat cooling. My head on his chest. His fingers trailing my spine. "That was," he murmurs. "Real." "Yeah. And I think, maybe I've done it. Maybe this time it's enough." I fall asleep in his arms, on my left side, without the necklace. Just in case. But when I wake up, everything is exactly the same. No reset. No rewind. The calendar still says the same date. Kai is in the kitchen, making coffee. And I realize something so terrifying I forget how to breathe. I didn't reset. I can't. I've lost the ability. This is my only shot now. If I mess this up, if he still chooses to leave, there's no redo. No loop. No second chance. This is it. The final timeline. I don't tell him. I don't run into the kitchen and shout that the timeline is frozen, that the cosmic safety net is gone, that if he leaves this time, it will be permanent and I will break in a way no loop can fix. Instead, I stand in the doorway and watch him pour coffee like everything is normal. He looks up. Smiles. You want your sweet or stupidly sweet today? Stupid, I whisper. Always. My hands shake as I reach for the mug. It's heavy with heat. My chest is heavier. This is what it feels like to be mortal again. To know that one mistake could ruin everything and there won't be a rewind. It hits me all over again, this is the real one. The final run. I want to scream. But I smile instead. Over the next few days, I walk on a tightrope made of glass. I keep everything perfect. Every word, every glance, every moment. I don't overreach. I don't smother. I don't beg. But I want to. I want to throw my arms around him and scream, "You've already left me so many times. Please don't do it again." I want to grab his suitcase and set it on fire. I want to kiss him until he forgets why he ever wanted to go. But I don't do any of that. I just try to be enough. Again. We go out more. Drive nowhere with the windows down and music too loud. He reaches for my hand at stoplights. Kisses me when I least expect it. We laugh until my stomach hurts. He says things like, "God, I wish I met you sooner," and I pretend I haven't met him in every version of sooner imaginable. But on the fourth night, I see it. The suitcase. Half packed. Sitting by his closet. My breath catches in my throat. "You're still going?" I ask. His expression changes instantly. Like I caught him cheating on me with a decision. "I haven't decided." "But you packed." "It's just planning. I don't want to be rushed." "You said you didn't want to go." "I said I didn't know." "After everything, after us, you still don't?" I'm louder than I mean to be. I regret it instantly. He runs a hand through his hair. "I've never stayed for anyone before. I don't know how to do this." "Then learn." "What if I stay and regret it?" "What if you go and regret that?" He doesn't answer. He turns away. And I feel it, the spiral. The loop trying to pull me into despair. But I can't afford that anymore. There's no safety net. No reset. No necklace trick. This is the end of the line. And I'm not going down quiet. The next day, I find him at the old bookstore. The one with the spiral staircase and the reading nook he once called his thinking throne. He's flipping through a travel guide. Of course. If I disappear, I say, "Will you even notice?" He looks up, startled. "What?" "If I left right now, walked out that door, vanished, you'd just go to New York anyway, wouldn't you?" "Don't be dramatic." "Then prove it. Say it. Say you won't go." He sets the book down slowly. His jaw clenches. "I can't say that yet. Then I can't keep pretending this doesn't hurt." I turn to leave. I actually do it. Walk out the door with my chest hollow and my hands trembling and the sky suddenly gray. I don't look back. I go home. Sit in the dark. Wonder if I just broke the one thing I've been fighting to save. I don't sleep. I can't risk it. But my body doesn't care. Sometime before dawn, I close my eyes. Just for a second. And when I wake up, it's still the same day. No reset. Still February. Still real. Still broken. I bury my face in my hands and try to breathe. And that's when I hear it. A knock at the door. I open it. And he's there. Hair messy. Eyes wide. Rain soaking his hoodie. I tried to imagine going without telling you, he says. I couldn't do it. My heart trips. Then don't go. I don't want to. So stay. Okay, he says, breathless. I will. And then he kisses me. Like it's the first time. Like it's the last time. Like he remembers all the timelines, too, but finally chose this one. The real one. The only one that matters. We stay wrapped in that kiss for what feels like the length of every failed timeline. Every time I lost him. Every time he walked away. Every time I cried myself to sleep and begged the universe to let me try again. But now it's just his mouth on mine, soft and certain, his fingers holding my face like I might disappear. And this time, I don't. I'm still here. I'm not waking up in another version of the past. I'm not clutching the necklace and counting backwards in grief. I'm just here. With him. You mean it? I whisper when we finally break for air. You're really staying? He nods, his brow furrowed, rain still dripping from his hair. Yeah. You were right. Every version of this without you just feels wrong. I laugh, a cracked, broken thing. That's the most confusingly sweet thing anyone's ever said to me. He smiles, his thumb brushing my cheek. I feel like I've had dreams about this. About leaving and regretting it. About you crying and me not knowing why. You did, I whisper. You've dreamed every mistake you haven't made yet. He tilts his head. That sounds crazy. It is. And you? I've lived every version of losing you. His breath catches. Why didn't you tell me? Because every time I tried, you stopped believing in me. Or you left anyway. Or I said too much too soon and reset back to the start. And now? Now I can't reset. Even if I wanted to. It's like the universe gave me one last shot and then cut the cord. He looks down at me like he's seeing something ancient. Something breakable. I'm not going anywhere, he says. Not this time. I pull him inside, and everything that happens after feels like it was supposed to happen 1,000 lifetimes ago. We kiss like we're desperate. Like we're new. Like we've known each other in every version of time but only now remembered how it was meant to feel. We fall into bed with clothes half-hanging, fingers tangled, heat building in waves. He touches me like he's been dreaming about this without knowing why. And I let him. I memorize every sound he makes, every curve of his mouth against my skin. His voice low, breath hot against my throat. The way he whispers my name like he's afraid it might vanish. After, we lie tangled together, hearts still racing, his hand tracing lazy circles on my back. So, he murmurs, you've reset how many times? Almost 30. And every time, you came back to find me? Every time, I say. Because every time you left, the world broke. That's insane. Yeah. I smile. And also kind of romantic. He pulls me closer. You must really love me. I do, I say without hesitation. I always have. Silence stretches between us, not awkward, just full. He kisses my temple and whispers, then let's make this the one that sticks. The next morning, I expect the panic to return. I expect to look at him and think, what if he changes his mind? What if I say the wrong thing? What if time yanks me back anyway? But it doesn't. The clock keeps ticking forward. The days pass, soft and slow, full of dumb jokes and spicy takeout and touches that linger too long. And one day, a week later, he turns to me over breakfast and says, "I withdrew my application." I freeze. What? The job? The move? I told them no. Why? Because I like waking up here. With you. He shrugs. That's reason enough, right? I nod, too choked up to answer. That night, I sleep curled up against his chest, the necklace still around my neck. I don't hold it like a prayer anymore. It's just a reminder. Of all the versions of us that failed. And this one, the only one that didn't. It takes me longer than I want to admit to stop flinching at the sound of suitcase zippers. To stop bracing for the reset every time Kai leaves the room without saying where he's going. I don't mean to be paranoid. But when you've lived 30 timelines of abandonment, your nervous system wires itself around it. Still, he notices. Of course he does. "You jump every time I open a drawer," he says one evening while brushing his teeth. "It's like you think I'm going to pull out a boarding pass and vanish." I don't lie. Not anymore. I'm trying to unlearn the panic. He spits, rinses, and turns to face me. "Do you want me to throw the suitcase away?" "God, no," I laugh. "That's psychotic." He grins. Little bit. Then, quieter, "Do you want me to stay somewhere else until it gets easier?" "No," I say instantly, wrapping my arms around his waist. "If I push you away just because I'm scared, I'll break the one timeline that actually worked." He kisses my forehead. "Then I'll stay. Even if you flinch. Even if you cry in your sleep. Even if I don't understand all of it yet." "You don't have to understand everything," I whisper. "Just don't leave." Not happening. The world doesn't feel like it's ending anymore. It feels like it's healing. And we start to settle into something close to normal. Not perfect. Not fairy tale. But real. And real is better. I tell him stories. The kind I used to keep to myself. About the time he rejected me in a timeline where I tried to propose. About the time he kissed me and then said it was a mistake. About the loop where he never even noticed me at all. He listens to every word. Sometimes with disbelief. Sometimes with guilt. Sometimes with quiet awe. "You lived all of that alone?" he asks once. "Yeah," I say. "But I don't have to anymore." The spicy tension returns slowly. Not in a rush. Not desperate like that first night after the eclipse broke. But in long glances, wandering hands, a deep familiarity that makes even the quietest moments hum. We start making out in stupid places. His car. The campus library stairwell. The corner of the kitchen while the pasta's boiling. He laughs into my mouth and I feel like I'm 19 and invincible. Like time was never a prison, just a detour. One night, I straddle him on the couch, tugging at the hem of his shirt, and he grins, breathless. "So we're making this timeline a little steamier, huh? I've got to do something to reward the universe for finally cooperating." He groans against my neck. "You're a menace. You love it." Unfortunately. That night we end up in bed again, but slower this time. Familiar. Careful. Hungry. Like building something that won't collapse the moment the sheets cool. I trace the lines of his back after, fingertips learning him all over again. He doesn't say anything. Just holds me tighter. The next morning, he makes pancakes. Badly. I eat every bite. And that's when he says it. "I think I want to stay here." For real. I look up from my syrup-covered mess. "You do?" "Yeah. I've been talking to my uncle about a job at the studio here. He said it's mine if I want it." "And do you want it?" "I want you," he says. "So the rest doesn't matter." That night, I sleep without fear for the first time since the resets began. And when I wake up, everything is still where I left it. The same day. The same boy. The same future waiting in front of me, not as a prize, but as a promise. It still doesn't feel real sometimes. Waking up and seeing the same date on the calendar. Feeling the same arms wrapped around me. Drinking the same burnt coffee and arguing over who left the socks in the hallway. It feels almost fragile. Like a dream so long I forgot it could be real. And sometimes I forget I'm allowed to be happy. But Kai makes it easier. Every day, he says something ridiculous. Or kisses me when I'm mid-rant about laundry. Or sneaks a hand up my back during movie night just to watch me flinch and pretend I don't like it. The tension between us is magnetic now. No longer desperate, just constantly humming. And honestly, I've never been more turned on. It's not just the physical part, though God help me, that man can kiss. It's the way he looks at me like he knows exactly what I've been through, even if he doesn't remember the timelines, and still chooses me anyway. One night, while I'm reading on the couch in one of his shirts and nothing else, he walks by, does a double take, and groans. "You're doing that on purpose." "Doing what?" I ask innocently, legs curled just enough to tease. "Wearing that shirt like you invented sin." "Maybe I did." He tackles me onto the cushions and kisses me like the world's ending. Again. It doesn't. And we're fine. More than fine. Better. But then, a few nights later, something cracks. It's small. Barely a shift. But I notice. I'm lying next to him in bed, head on his chest, when I feel his breath hitch. His arms tense around me for just a second. "What is it?" I ask. "Nothing." You hesitated. "I just got an email. From New York." He doesn't deny it. "They offered more money," he says quietly. "Double." "Oh." I didn't say yes. I didn't respond. "But you thought about it." For a second. Silence stretches. I hate how easily fear slithers back in. I thought I was done with this. Thought I had finally won. But maybe I haven't. Maybe there's no such thing as done with people. "Tell me the truth," I say. "If I hadn't asked you to stay. If we weren't together right now, would you have gone?" "Yes," he says. No hesitation. "But I wouldn't have been happy." "You sure?" "I'm sure," he says, turning to me. "You don't get it, do you? You changed me. I don't even want the same things anymore." "I'm scared," I admit. "I know. If you change your mind, I won't get another shot. I won't wake up in February again. I'll just lose you." "You're not going to lose me." "How can you be sure?" "Because I'm going to prove it." And he does. Over the next few weeks, he's everywhere. Showing up with food. Making playlists called Stay For Her and things I'd miss if I left. Kissing me like it's a vow. Whispering I'm still here when he catches me spiraling. He doesn't promise he won't ever think about leaving. He promises he'll keep choosing me. And I think that might be better. Because it means the decision is real. Earned. Ours. One afternoon, I come home to candles. Not dramatic ones. Just enough to make the room glow. Kai is standing there in a button-up that he clearly hates wearing. "What is this?" I ask. "Dinner." "Why?" "Because I love you," he says. And because I was going to wait longer, but I realized I'm done waiting. For what? To marry you. My heart stops. "What?" "I want to marry you," he says, pulling a ring box from his pocket. No timelines. No conditions. No resets. Just one version of forever. This one. I laugh through my tears. "You didn't even get on one knee. You want the floor?" "I'll give you the floor." He drops dramatically and nearly knocks over a candle. I shriek laugh, and he grins up at me. Marry me, time traveler. Only if you promise not to leave again. Never, he says. I'm staying right here. This is my timeline now. I whisper yes. He pulls me down into his arms. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I wonder if the universe is watching. If the loop has finally closed. Not with tragedy. Not with another try. But with the version where we get to live. Really live. The wedding isn't big. We don't want big. We want real. It's a garden behind the old bookshop where he used to read travel guides and dream about being anywhere else. Now he looks at me like he's already where he was meant to be. The flowers are wild, uneven. My dress is borrowed. His suit has a coffee stain on the cuff I pretend not to see. Our friends cry more than we do. But I've already shed enough tears in other timelines. This one is for joy. Do you, Kai, take her to be your wife? The officiant says. He doesn't hesitate. In every version of the universe, yes. My throat tightens. And do you, Lena? Yes, I cut in, laughing through tears. God, yes. Before he changes his mind. The kiss is messy. We trip over each other. There's confetti stuck in my mouth. And it's perfect. Later, after cake and dancing and entirely too much champagne, we sneak away. Just the two of us. The sky is clear. The stars sharp. We lie on the grass in our wedding clothes and I whisper, "Are you happy?" He pulls me into his arms. I didn't know I could be. Not like this. Even though I'm insane? Especially because you're insane. He kisses my forehead. You saved me, Lena. Even when I didn't know I needed saving. I think we saved each other. We stay out there until the moon is high and the fireflies drift between trees like forgotten timelines. I let my eyes close. Just for a second. And I wake up, still there. Still married. Still real. No reset. No rewind. Just my name in his mouth and his ring on my finger. We move into a little apartment above a flower shop. It smells like jasmine and dust and too much potpourri. We hang terrible art and name our Wi-Fi after the timeline count. Loop 28 RIP. He makes breakfast most days. Badly. I burn dinner trying to keep up. But somehow, nothing feels hard. Because we chose it. On days when it rains, we read together. Or make out until the pasta boils over. Or dance in the living room to old songs from the timeline before this one. What if you forget me again someday? I ask him once. He tilts his head. What? What if something happens and it's all gone from your mind? Then I'll fall for you all over again. Even if I'm different? Especially then. There are still moments where I reach for the necklace in the night, fingers brushing empty space. Where I bolt awake, thinking I've gone back. But then I feel his arms around me. His breath on my skin. And I remember. This is the one we made count. One afternoon, we visit the rooftop where it all started. The worst view in the city, he once called it. Still terrible, he says, squinting at the skyline. Still magic, I say, squeezing his hand. If the loop had never ended, I start. I still would have chosen you, he says. Every time. And I believe him. Because this is the version of the story where love didn't come easy. It came broken. Scattered. Time-bent and tear-stained and stitched back together with whispers. But it came. It stayed. It endured. And it won. In the end, it always had to be him. In every timeline, in every loop, in every desperate try, I was never trying to fix the world. I was just trying to find my way back to him. And now that I have, I'm never letting go. We never told anyone about the timelines. Not really. It stayed between us, our weird little secret stitched into jokes and late-night confessions. Sometimes Kai would say things like, "Déjà vu," when I'd answer a question before he asked. Or, "Let me guess, this is the part where I screw up and you cry in the rain?" And I'd laugh, even if it wasn't always funny. But most of the time, we didn't talk about the past versions. Because this one was enough. More than enough. He started working at the local film studio, helping with editing. I got a job at a publishing house, reading submissions with coffee stains and impossible dreams. We lived small. But it felt vast. Like we'd earned every second. And when the time came, we talked about kids. About houses. About moving somewhere with more sky and fewer people. "Would you go back?" he asked once. "If you could reset again. Start it all over." I looked at him and smiled. "No. Because I might mess it up this time." He didn't press further. He never did. He knew I carried the weight of what came before. And he never tried to lift it, just stayed beside me while I held it. I still wore the necklace. Not because I thought it would work again. But because it reminded me of how far I'd come. Of every version of myself that kept trying. The girl who refused to give up. Even when the world rewound. Even when the boy she loved forgot her over and over. Even when the reset stopped and the stakes got real. She kept going. For love. For hope. For one more chance. And she got it. One crisp October morning, I woke up to the smell of Kai's terrible coffee and the sound of his off-key humming. I padded into the kitchen in his hoodie, barefoot and half asleep. He turned, saw me, and grinned. "Hey, wife. Hey, menace. You hungry?" "Only for your attention." He set the mug down, crossed the kitchen, and kissed me like we had all the time in the world. Because now, we did. Later that day, we went for a walk. No destination. Just leaves crunching under our feet and the sky open above us. "Do you think the universe is watching us?" I asked. "Definitely." "Do you think it's done with us?" He wrapped his arm around me. "If it's not, it can wait. We're busy being happy." "That's illegal, you know." "Good," he said. "Let's get arrested." We laughed until we were breathless. And in that moment, I realized something. I wasn't afraid anymore. Not of resets. Not of goodbyes. Not of time itself. Because I had chosen love. And love had chosen me back. In the right timeline. The real one. The one where he stayed. And I stayed. And we kept choosing each other, again and again, without needing to start over. This is the ending I never thought I'd reach. Not because it's dramatic or perfect. But because it's simple. Solid. Ours. And maybe that's the most magical ending of all.